2001.
The goal of the United Flight 93 project is to help us remember that important and tragic day.
Angela, Melora, Hansen, and Jimmy Woody helped us to understand what the TV was trying to tell us when we were only 2 or 3.
Since January, a handful of students and 2 fabulous 6th grade social studies teachers, Mr. Bowens and Mrs. Greaves, have worked hard on a project to help us remember how America came together.
7:30 and 9 o'clock on September 11th, Flight 175, Flight 77, Flight 11, and Flight 93 depart from their airport, thinking all is well.
At 8:46, the devastation begins as Flight 11 crashes into the North Tower of the World Trade Center.
But it doesn't end there. At 9:03, Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center.
Tragedy spreads as Flight 77 strikes the Pentagon at 9:37. Confusion and worry sweep the country.
The sky becomes silent as all planes currently in the air are ordered to land.
No one on the ground is safe as the South Tower of the World Trade Center, a national landmark, collapses.
At 10:03, the brave people aboard Flight 93 give their lives to save people as the plane crashes in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The original crash was intended for the White House of the U.S. Capitol building.
At 10:10, as people evacuate, the west side of the Pentagon collapses.
Back in New York, the second tower follows its brother and collapses at 10:28, trapping even more people inside. Osama bin Laden's evil mind was blamed for this tragedy. 10 years later, he was found and killed by U.S. Navy SEALs.
We are
United Flight 93.
Tremendously. At the time, I was a New York City firefighter. On 9/11/2001, I was actually home with my children. Their mother had come home from work to take them so that I could get down to work, because they were calling us all into work, even the fellas that were off. There are 12,000 New York City firefighters.
So, what did you do after that?
We made our way down to the Twin Towers with our fire truck. And that's when it really hit home, the extent of what was going on.
Did you feel like there was much that anybody could do to help?
By the time we got there, both towers were down, and it felt like we were stepping into a total destruction war zone. We called it Ground Zero, but once you got onto the site, it was like stepping onto another planet, the planet of destruction. So a lot of us had to just stand there and watch this all unfold. It's hard to describe in words, but we thought we would find hundreds, thousands of people buried in the rubble, and we were just not finding any. The only noise you heard were those pass alarms that we wear, that go off after minutes of not moving. But we were just not finding anybody.
Was that what you were expecting when you got on site?
Well, we're trained, soldiers, policemen, and firemen, to deal with things. But this was sort of way out of proportion to what we were used to dealing with.
So, did you feel like you could make a difference?
No, you felt helpless, but you still had a lot of hope. And the hope was that people would be down in there. We were finding some sporadically, but not what we thought we'd find. And if we did, they were totally annihilated, pulverized. We were finding traces of bodies and body parts.
So, how did most of the people that were around you handle everything that's going on?
Well, you'd start crying, or whatever, and it went on for days, which led into weeks, and then into months.
So now, how do you look at 9/11 in the big picture?
world, all over the country at first. And then more came from overseas just to help us out.